What's up, guys? Got a question, a basic question about how to improve your cardio for fighting. And this is, I could give you a million answers and anybody else could give you a million answers for this. But I think that the most important one is sparring, period. And that's grappling sparring or striking sparring. There's nothing simulates fighting like really fighting, like punching someone in the face, kicking them in the legs, going hard in sparring, making it a very fast-paced, high heart rate. Same thing with grappling, wrestling, taking someone down, smashing them with shoulder pressure when you pass their guard. Just constant attack when you're sparring is a good way to learn how to push the pace and just go hard in general. That is my best advice. Even better than, everyone is so, in today's world, is so sold on strength and conditioning. And I definitely think strength and conditioning is overrated big time, because a lot of the people I feel like that make strength and conditioning work so much are the guys that have been training their whole life. Well, of course, if you've been wrestling since you were 5 or 10 years old, then you don't have to work on your wrestling craft as much as the guy who started at 20. So so you can do conditioning 3 days a week. But if you're just a regular person trying to fight amateur, trying to turn pro, maybe go to the UFC one day, and you didn't start until you were, 16, 18, 20 years old, and you have a job and you only have about 2 hours a day to practice, you shouldn't be doing strength and conditioning an hour of your 2 hour practice a day when you are behind technically from guys that have been training their whole life. So I think it has to be, the answer is it has to be according to where you're at in your career. Like, how much have you trained? How much experience do you have? If you've been training your whole life, boxing, wrestling, karate, jiu-jitsu, whatever, and a lot of kids have nowadays because the sport's been around now for a while. If you've been training your whole life, then strength and conditioning is a good idea. But if you're coming in late to the game, then I just disagree. I don't think you should, unless you can train full time, which most regular people that are trying to come up can't do so. They have to have a job and their time is limited. You need to focus that on skill set development, and you can add the conditioning in with that. That means hitting bags very hard. That means maybe coming in, if you do 10 3-minute rounds on a punching bag every day, that's 30 minutes of work. You take a minute in between. That's basically, let's say 45 minutes of your day there, of your hour, but that's good conditioning. You got good conditioning. You grapple 5 rounds straight, maybe 5-minute rounds. That's 25 minutes of cardio of resistance. That is more important than doing other stuff. Then at the end of that, then do push-ups, pull-ups, dips, whatever the case may be. But it really just depends on your schedule, to be honest with you. I'm just going off of who should or who is able to only train a couple hours a day, like the average fighter coming up that's trying to make it or do good as an amateur and turn pro and stuff like that. So if your time is limited, I would say for conditioning, you need to train hard as possible. You need to never skip a live round. If your class, they're rolling, and you always see it. You see people after the second or third round setting out. Let's say like we usually do 5-minute rounds at my gym is when I train for grappling, right? And I'll see a lot of the guys set out, which is fine if you're not trying to be a fighter. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's goal isn't to do 5 rounds every day and go hard. But I'm speaking to the fighters, and you need to go hard. You don't need to set one round out. I've seen for years people say, oh, I got to get my cardio better. Well, and then they think that'll transfer better to them in the rounds. Well, the answer is you get your cardio from doing the rounds. That is the best advice I can give anybody, is never set out a round. I used to come into the gym. I didn't start training until I was 20 years old. I didn't start grappling until I was 22. I used to come in the gym. I would get mad. I swear I would make it a point to make sure I did more rounds than everyone in the gym. I would get mad and feel like I was being lazy if someone did more rounds than me that day, because I realized I was starting late in life. I wasn't delusional about the situation. I realized I couldn't set out a round. I didn't take days off. But I had different goals to be in the UFC, of course, and maybe that's not your goal. But if you want to get your cardio good, guys, for fighting, you need to fight. You need to spar hard. You need to hit bags hard. You need to hit pads hard. So it needs to be a mixture of knowing the technique, because you can go hard as you want. If you suck and your technique is bad, then it doesn't matter how hard you go. You're just fighting just being aggressive or having good cardio, but that's not going to save you if you don't know how to get out of proper techniques, and you don't know how to escape mount, you don't know how to escape the back, you don't know how to defend a double leg. You could be in the greatest shape you want to be in your life. If you don't know how to deal with the techniques coming at you, you're in trouble. But simple answer, just train hard and fight hard in the practice. Spar as many rounds as you can. Don't let no one in your gym do more rounds than you. And if that means you have to do what you can. If that means you can only come to practice 2 days a week, if you only get 2 days a week of practice, then you better go every round until and ask people to do extra after. If you are able to train 5 days a week, then you should still do every round. All of this adds up, compound interest, guys. And then you fast forward, especially like grappling. Grappling is a really hard one because the hardest part of grappling is offensive wrestling from a cardio standpoint. It's so hard to take someone down and save your gas tank, which is why you see a lot of guys that wrestled in high school, college, and MMA not even wrestling, because they realize that it's the most tiring part of MMA, and they have the wrestling background. So just push yourself in these rounds when you're sparring and grappling, and that is the best advice I can give you. And then afterwards, supplement training. Do 100 push-ups, do 100 pull-ups, go run 100 yards with the sprints, go run 3 miles after practice at a very fast pace or something. But don't ever, if you only got a couple hours a day, don't skip technique training to do strength and conditioning at the cost of not practicing your craft and learning your technique. Because as good as strength and conditioning can be, a lot of it doesn't apply to fighting. So just my advice, guys. Let me know any videos you'd like me to go over in the comments, and I'll try to make a video about it. I appreciate the good questions. You guys have been asking great questions. If you're new to martial arts, looking for a gym, click the link in the description below. The Ultimate Guide to Choose Your Martial Arts School and Instructor. It'll give you a good guide to find a gym near you. Thank you, guys.